So how do I deal with my loneliness? Right. So all these things are millions of people, especially in the West, are dealing with. I want to give that sort of background. Loneliness is the biggest killer, right? And sometimes people don't realize how lonely they are. There's like they just seem to be like, there's something missing in my life. All I'm doing is watching TV. I don't seem to have much interaction. I feel really sad. What is that sadness? And it's loneliness. Loneliness is a massive problem. Even if you're surrounded by people, if you can't have a genuine conversation, you're lonely. Doesn't matter if you're surrounded by people at work. Okay, if you don't feel you can share your feelings with people at work or or somebody, that means you're lonely, because loneliness is a feeling. It's not the number of people or fake friends you got on the internet or likes you get on the internet or something like that. That's not, that doesn't change your feeling. So loneliness is a massive problem. It's the biggest killer in the West. There's no small thing. If you're feeling it, hopefully this is going to help you. So loneliness grows in selfish societies. So one thing I want to get across: traveling is an awesome thing. It can give you such a massive mind shift. Okay, and why I'm talking about that is, and I've invited my friend Wahid to possibly come to Jordan with me, where people are a lot more social and people feel less lonely. I'm saying selfishness is so common in this country, and it doesn't mean people are nasty. Okay, people deep down want to be nice, but they're not nice enough to step out of their selfishness. They rather feel comfortable being by themselves. Say comfortable and sad and miserable. Okay, they're comfortable as in they don't have to try to do anything, but because of that comfort, you're stuck in a tiny little bubble of loneliness. So, I mean, I'll talk about the solution in a few seconds, but let me build it up a little bit. The world has plenty of fun problems to solve and people who want to work with you. So there's no shortage of people out there that is causing your loneliness. You are causing your loneliness. The selfishness is causing the loneliness. Okay. You, or I'm talking about people on the show, but also maybe you're suffering from that as well, maybe, right? Okay. And actually I do as well at times. If I'm not really careful, I'm surrounded, I've got kids, I've got a wife, I've got loads of people in the family, but I can easily and have in the past a lot felt lonely, and I'll talk about that as well. um, so the way you can do that is to help yourself out, you have to help others, is the short answer. Okay, if you help other people, if you're um there to, if you go out of your way, so for example, I don't know, I teach people for free, for example. Yeah, I do loads of things to just talk to people even if I'm not interested, but if I hear that they're lonely, I'll just talk to them, right? But what's the result? I end up talking to loads more people and I find more interesting conversations. Yeah, and loads more interesting things happen. So I could, for example, one thing I'm setting up is a street party. We have street parties here every time the queen gets a bit older. I don't know how it works, jubilee of some sort. Yeah. So yeah, any excuse, I will go out there and talk to my neighbors, and my neighbors, lovely people, but they're just typical British people, and they are too shy to say hello normally, and they know that, that's part of their culture, right? So I'm talking a lot, but that's kind of my intro. Selfishness is the cause of loneliness. And we think we're not selfish, but do we go out of our way to talk to people, to smile at people, to start a conversation? What do you do? Do you?
Well, depending, in all honesty, depending on what my mood is in. Sometimes the next door neighbor, they might not be in a good mood, and sometimes you hesitate because you look at their personality and you think, should I go and approach this guy? Sometimes you worry about being shunned. Now, that's
Yeah.
happened to me before, loads and loads of times.
Yeah.
Even saying good morning to somebody at work, I walked past this one of my colleague,
Okay.
morning, and she just practically ignored me, and I just felt, and you feel scared of being hurt by saying good morning, because I think the reason why they don't say good morning or hello these days is because people are scared of being hurt.
Yes, I think you've touched something incredibly important. And this is why I love having guests, because I forget loads of things. Why people find things difficult? Okay, so why you're basically, I'm being really blunt to get to the point really quick, is that you are sensitive. Now, how do you stop feeling sensitive? That is a great question. And we talked on the phone, and we're building. I don't know if it was your question or some other question that I've got, which is bring, how do you become tough? How do you become resilient? I think that's one of your favorite words, isn't it? I don't know.
And how to yeah, I don't know how to become the showstopper
All right, showstopper and everything, right? Okay. The
for the
simple way is if you have a purpose, if you live with purpose, like this is my mission in life, and I know this thing makes sense, you automatically stop caring about all the tiny things that, oh, this person might think that, this person. There's a really good saying. It says, if you have any how, no, if you have a why in your life, then you can get through anyhow. There's a famous psychologist basically called Nietzsche, or Nietzsche, something like that, right? Okay. It's like if you have a mission in your life, that makes doing anything really easy. So I'll give you an example of what you're talking about, like feeling like, oh, like it's not like, when you said hello to that person at work, the person didn't shout at you, did they? They probably just made a little face, didn't they? Or they didn't respond quite like you thought.
no.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sometimes,
It's not like they bashed you up or kicked you in the teeth, did
no,
they?
but generally, people in my work and in modern day society, people are genuinely miserable.
Okay, I live in the same society as you, basically, right? We're kind of London, wherever. Yeah, I know you're a bit out of London now, right? Okay, and I in London is more of a problem. Okay, people are more shy. Yet I can get people to smile and talk to me, right? The postman or whatever, I would stop him, and because I did it piece by piece. I was like, first of all, I'd smile at them, then I'd say hello, and then after weeks and weeks of doing that, I'll slowly get their name, and then these strangers, right? And I'm on a mission, you see. And when you're on a mission, you don't care about these things. And the number one way to become, like you're saying, a showstopper, like a powerful thing to reckon with, like people feel that you got a massive personality, like people might, I've always had this experience of not showing off at all, that when I was at university and wherever I was, because I really didn't, I cared about my principles more than what people thought. My personality seemed to be huge, so everybody would be like, oh, like it's Khalid, okay, like I would be well known when the whole, wherever I go, sort of thing, right? So how you do that is, the spiritual teaching is that if you care only about that you're going to face God in the next life, and you're going to have to account for everything you did, then you only care what God thinks. Like, God is watching me right now, and if I'm going to do a wrong thing, then God's going to remember that. If I'm going to do a right thing, God is going to remember that, right? And when you start caring about what God thinks, then all the other human beings become puny, unimportant. Do you get it?
Mm,
Like, it doesn't matter what they think, and it takes a bit of time. Like, maybe it's really, uh, I want you to be, I want you to 1% get this, not 100%, right? And I want it to change how you feel. Like, if you really just start thinking, try this maybe until next show, yeah. Try to think more what God thinks. So be like, you are very lucky that you get dreams, yeah, true dreams, that you see your mom, you see your dad, and you ask God for it. So there's a God there, right?
yeah, absolutely.
Maybe a lot more than some other people. So now be aware that God is watching you. And so do the right thing. You're not smiling to the other person or saying hello to the person at work for your sake. You're saying it for their sake. And when you do stuff for other people, then you become more free as well. Like You're being nice to the other person, and then eventually the person will be nice back to you, and eventually you're going to have more interesting relationships and conversations rather than being trapped more and more in a tiny hole. I don't know. Give me some feedback. Like, any thoughts about that?
Certain people, I mean, you could say that there are certain individuals that you judge and you look at, and certain individuals, by just, you know, certain individuals freak you out, and there's a certain individual that probably won't kind of freak you out. I mean, I don't know why this is with me, that or with some people, like, oh, if I see a guy, he looks a bit an awkward customer, don't say anything to him, might kind of lash out or something. Whereas
Cool. Let's go. That is basically, that's what you're talking about, is this topic now. How do you handle toxic people, right?